Mr. Stiell. It's an honor to host you at NAMYO headquarters, joining us for NAMYO Talks. On behalf of the NAMYO's organization, I would like to thank you for making time. And without further ado, I would like to address you the questions that are of interest for us as youth. So first of all, if you could advise youth on 3 key actions to take to ensure effective contribution to climate action, what would those be?
I think number 1 will be their voice. The voice of the youth, especially at this time where the climate crisis and the impacts of the climate crisis are impacting every country, every region around the world. Every citizen is impacted by climate change. The energy, the vision, the moral presence of the youth and their advocacy in calling nations to account, calling companies, businesses to account, and calling for the need for immediate action, I think is probably the number 1 priority. Secondly, I would say their direct engagement in driving climate action, whether that's through the process itself. There are opportunities for youth engagement within and outside of the process, and to take full advantage of that, and not only make their words heard, but to make their words felt. And we at the UNFCCC do everything we can do to preserve that space, to appropriately expand that space, so that their weight can be felt within the process. And then I would say the third is within the homes and communities, how they can influence through their behaviors, through their thoughts on action, how they can influence their parents, their families, their friends, their communities. I think is an invaluable source of the organic growth of youth involvement in this global call.
Thank you. We talked about actions, and now I would like to follow up with the challenges that the youth face. What do you think? What poses a great challenge to the effectiveness of youth involvement in green transition? Limited opportunities for engagement or insufficient support and recognition for their contributions?
I think one of the challenges, the formality of the process is very conservative in its approach. It is party-driven and driven at state level. And ensuring that there is sufficient and legitimate space for their voices to be heard and their direct engagement within the process. Every COP, every engagement I have with the youth, it's the call for more support in terms of their capacity building, to unite their voices, to provide them with the institutional knowledge that they need to be able to contribute as fully as possible, and push back in some circles within this very conservative, highly formulaic process of having external voices influencing the formal processes. So I would say that those are the greatest challenges. But what my advice is for them to continue to push. The UNFCCC will continue providing them with that capacity building support and encouraging others to provide support so that their representation is as impactful as possible.
Thank you for that, and thank you for the advice. I think I will finalize with the third question. Considering your impact on future generations, what recommendations would you offer for today's youth to shape a better tomorrow?
Keep doing what they're doing. Simple as that. If you look, we can focus on what isn't being done, what hasn't been done. But if you look at the progress that has been made, and there has been real progress since Paris and the Paris Agreement, if we compare where the world was before Paris on a 5-degree warming trajectory, we're now down to 2+ degrees, which is still far from the 1.5 that we need to be. But if you look at the contribution of our youth in pushing for government action, for global action, it can be directly attributed to the progress that's been made. So my piece of advice is continue to push. And those of us who can provide support to help strengthen that force, we're there to provide and support.
Thank you once again. Thank you for the insightful answers, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.